Hey folks, Nate Gilman here from MMC is the first software that makes getting your Coast Guard license really, really easy. This week, we really lucked out. We have Josh Berger, the director and president, co-founder or founder of Washington Maritime Blue. We had the pleasure of going through Washington Maritime's Blue Accelerator, and so we're really excited to be here. We also have Juana, who's one of our interns at MMC's, who's going to help me along on this podcast. Welcome, Josh. How's it going?
Hey, doing great, Nate. Thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah, hi.
Great. We're really excited to have you. So let's kick it off. Tell us about your maritime background.
Well, I learned how to sail with my father when I was about 8 years old. He went on a trip with some friends and fell in love with being on the water, and came home and bought a little 22-foot day sailor and said, "Let's go learn how to sail together." And it's really been much of all I've done ever since. I grew up in New York on Long Island Sound, between Queens and Nassau County, and loved to be on the water every day. And grew up racing small boats and cruising larger boats and sailing up and down the Atlantic seaboard. Spent some time in college racing dinghies, and then decided there was more to life than going as fast as I could in a triangle. And spent some time down in the West Indies and the Caribbean, and found a beautiful Alden schooner, and fell in love with traditional sailing vessels. And I think growing off of that, there was sort of the seamanship, workmanship, and craftsmanship, and the ability to help inspire people who wanted to be on the water and were inspired by what you were doing there. That shaped a lot, I think, of the rest of my maritime career. So I then spent the rest of my vessel operating days bouncing back and forth between working in towboats and tall ships. So tall ships are mostly run by small nonprofits, and so I'd have to step away and go earn some money working in the Gulf or in the Pacific Northwest or New York Harbor, and go back to my true love of sailing on tall ships and helping to teach about ocean literacy and sustainability and maritime workforce development. And very quickly got engaged and passionate about our opportunities to think about the maritime industry and living on and near and playing in the water through a lens around sustainability and technology innovation. And that became much of the focus of my next part of career in the maritime industry, stepping off vessels. We stood up and spun out this organization from a large, multi-stakeholder planning process in my previous role with the governor and the State Department of Commerce, and defining the blue economy and looking at our whole state's maritime and ocean industries and their ability to, if well coordinated and having an advocate for them, to really start to accelerate our kind of values or lens of the blue economy, which is certainly, growing jobs and helping supporting this growing and diverse and interdependent industry, but doing that through a lens of supporting ocean health and marine ecosystems, but also, as importantly, thriving and equitable communities that it impacts. So that typical three-layer lens. So we formed Washington Maritime Blue as an independent nonprofit 501c3 to really help accelerate and advance that work around innovation and equity and sustainability in the maritime and ocean space. And we do that in a whole number of ways, supporting entrepreneurs and founders like yourself, Nate, and helping to coordinate big, hairy demonstration pilot projects like building zero emission foiling fast ferries or hydrogen infrastructure, and making sure we're helping to support, create pathways and pipelines for young people, particularly giving access to young people of color who don't traditionally have had the kind of opportunity, access, or to the maritime industry in this region. So that's what we're working on. No small task, but we have an amazing team and an incredible literal cluster of hundreds of member organizations, from the largest OEMs to one-person engineering shops to startups to national labs, fully engaged and excited in this work. So we're having a ton of fun and have a great team.
Yeah.
What's your favorite part of being underway?
Oh, that's an awesome question. I have to say, well, I really love the feel of a boat under your feet and kind of and at your hands. no matter what that is, if it's like a rumbling push boat trying to turn the corner around a bridge, or you know, being under full sail in a schooner. It's just the feel of the boat under your feet, and that you have control over. And I guess the best part for me is that no matter what kind of boat you're on, you're impacted by so many forces at one time. And being at the helm of a vessel, you get to kind of play the intermediary and think about all those forces and try and anticipate them and react to them. So you're kind of the center of a system. So it's like both beautiful and humbling and powerful at the same time.
That's amazing. Another question would be, what's one thing you would tell someone just getting into the maritime industry?
You know, I think it's kind of be patient. This is an old industry with folks, you know, it's familial and generational, but at the same time, it kind of has to include everybody. And so, you know, whether I had a meeting with somebody who really wants to come and, you know, buy a maritime business. And it's like, that's great. And we love your ambition and love what you might be able to bring to this sector. And at the same time, you got to come kind of see what this is about, right? You have to learn the interdependencies and how people engage with one another. At the same time, we need to shake it up. And so please come, bring your new perspective, shake it up. Don't be too humble, right? And like, this is yours as much as it is everybody else's. And so I think it's that kind of balance of both being thoughtful and learning the intricacies and the nuances of it, but also this is a time where it's like not to be afraid to bring innovation and new perspectives.
Lastly, what is your maritime joke or funny story?
Oh man, lots of funny stories, right? Because the fish is always this big. But I have, you know, I guess two of my probably most important identities is one is as a mariner, right, and being on the water, and the other is certainly as a father. I've got 4 kids and raising as stewards and sailors, and so my joke is a maritime and dad joke. So you have to kind of brace yourself. It's sort of a dad joke too. So it's what is brown and shows up on radar? Boop. Boop. So dad maritime joke.
Yeah.
My 2 identities.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Captain Berger. We really appreciate having you here. Thank you, Juana, for helping host this. This has been absolutely awesome. We really appreciate it. Check us out at mmcs.com, and we're looking forward to seeing you on the site.
Yeah, super fun. You guys are great. Thank you.